What's up everyone, this is Mario Virgil. Welcome back for another video. Welcome to the MV Driven YouTube channel. Hope you've all had an amazing day so far. I sure as hell haven't. As you can tell by the title of this video, this wasn't really a fun video to make, but I decided I had to do it. This is not how I wanted to start recording videos on my Jeep, but you know, I've been having some issues lately and I decided, hey, might as well talk about some of the things that actually goes on with these cars. They're not perfect. I've had such a great time with this car. It's been so much fun to drive, but eventually issues do happen. So I've had the Jeep for about 2 years and 6 months exactly. Within the first 2 years, I never really had any issues as far as the Jeep goes, but I did have some issues and they were actually from the Rock Slide Engineering power steps that I installed. If you're not familiar with these are Rock Slide Engineering power steps. These basically, what they do is when you open the door, the step comes down. This is an aftermarket piece. This is obviously not something that came with the Jeep. The only issue I did have was with the rear sensors, which are right here with time. The glue did wear out a little bit, and eventually they started misaligning. So basically the steps would just stay open and it wouldn't close. Like I mentioned, that wasn't really an issue that went on with the Jeep. It wasn't even with the power steps. I believe it was more of the way that it was installed and the glue that was actually used to install these sensors. But other than that, for the first 2 years, this car was great. Never had any issues until recently. All right, so the first real issue I had with this Jeep actually happened, I'd say about 2 months ago. I was actually driving to the gym. I was getting off the highway. I was making a right turn. There were cars passing by, and once I saw a little gap that I can get in, I made a right turn. I don't want to say I stepped on it, but I did make a pretty hard acceleration. As I was getting to the gym, when I parked, I started noticing like a white steam coming out of the engine. It was something very, very minimal. I didn't pay too much attention to it. I went inside, had my workout, came out, and as I'm driving home, I started noticing the temperature on the Jeep started rising and the white smoke started coming out again, but now it was actually a lot more. So I immediately pulled over to a shopping center. The car was overheating way too much. I immediately called the dealership and they told me they could send me a tow truck, but it would have to be the next day. So I was like, all right, that's fine. I stayed there for about an hour just waiting for the car to cool off. I was literally like in there sweating my balls off. Then once the car cooled off, I took off home. It was only about a 5-minute drive. And as I'm getting home, same thing happened. The car started overheating again. Started getting warning signs on the dashboard. And the white smoke started coming out again. So got home. The next day, the car gets picked up on the tow truck. We take it to the dealership. And basically what happened was the hose for the radiator snapped, which is what caused the radiator to get damaged. So basically had to replace the radiator. The car spent about 3 weeks, no lie, 3 weeks in the dealership just because that's how long it took for the radiator to get there. For those of you who don't know, the radiator is actually a crucial part in the engine cooling system. And if that goes bad, man, let me tell you, you're gonna run into some serious problems. Luckily, the engine was fine. It was just the radiator. So I had to get that replaced. Good thing, I still have warranty on the Jeep. So 3 weeks go by, I pick up the Jeep. It's running great again, no issues. And exactly 1 week later after I picked up the Jeep, guess what? I'm backing into a parking spot in a shopping center. I get off the car, no lie, for like 30 seconds to drop off a package. I come back in the car. And once I put the car on drive and I take off, I noticed a light came on that said 4-wheel drive service. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then next thing I noticed, the car actually went on 4-wheel drive. Same thing. I called the dealership, told them, hey, I'm having this issue. The car is now on 4-wheel drive. It doesn't come off. I turn it off. I turn it on. It's still the same. And took it to the dealership. Now, drop it off. Another week goes by that I don't have the Jeep. Turns out it was a transfer case. So I needed a new transfer case. The transfer case is actually what distributes the power between the front and rear axles of the Jeep. Had to get that replaced. So that was another week that I didn't have the Jeep. And guess what? Today actually makes 2 weeks from when I picked up the Jeep. And guess what? That light turned on again. So now I have to go to the dealership again. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Hopefully I don't have to get another transfer case. That's why I decided to make this video. You know, I was so excited to start making videos with the Jeep. Unfortunately, I had to start it off in I don't want to say in a negative way, but I did have some pretty cool video ideas to make with the Jeep, but you know, I have to start it off like this. So I'm gonna take off to the dealership now. Hopefully it's nothing serious, like I said, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so I wanted to show you the service four-wheel drive light that comes off. As you can see, it's right there, right above the fuel gauge. All right, guys, so I literally just got back home from the dealership. The car was there for 5 days, and let me tell you, they didn't even get a chance to look at it. They're pretty much backed up. There's a lot of cars in for service or cars that just need to get parts replaced. I had it there for 5 days. I had to get a rental car, and I was paying $100 a day. And I said, you know what, man, I'm just gonna go pick up the Jeep, and I'll take it to another dealership that's closer to where I live. That one was actually about 20-mile drive. So I honestly believe it might just be the transfer case again. The good thing is that the car is still under warranty, so whatever issue it has is gonna be covered. So I'm just gonna close out this video. Hopefully this helps some of you guys that are interested in getting a 392 Wranglers. You can actually see some of the issues that hopefully they don't, but they could possibly happen. All right, guys, so I'll keep you guys updated on the next video, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.